So, I did it. I made the New York Jets even better, which on paper, they already have a fantastic roster overall wise. But now we added another player to this squad, and that is Darrelle Revis. That's right, Revis Island coming back for another year. And with already an amazing roster in front of us, I can't see how this roster won't take this squad beyond, I would say, 11-6 record. I'm expecting at least number 1, number 2 in the NFL. So I just realized their center, Titman. Okay, yeah, he has a very nice haircut, actually, surprisingly enough. But hopefully Aaron Rodgers also lasts more than 5 snaps. So week 1, they play the 49ers because, of course, the NFL absolutely hates the Jets, apparently. I don't know why they gave them the 49ers week 1 when their quarterback last season couldn't last longer than 5 plays. So the first game, he goes against Nick Bosa. Like, you want Aaron Rodgers to last a long time. So the first game, he goes against Nick Bosa, who potentially could have 3 or 4 sacks in the single night against Aaron Rodgers. But, all right, so starting off 3-0. Again, like I said, with how complete this roster is, they should do very well in Madden simulations. I'm not expecting too many negative things, especially now when you got Sauce Gardner on one side, Darrelle Revis on the other side. You got the most deadliest combo, and they lose to the Bills 16-0. How do you lose to the Bills 16-0? That honestly is my question. 183 yards and an interception. Okay, yeah. That's interesting, especially with the fact that that's in New York. It's not even like it's in Buffalo, which you play them later in the season. That's literally in New York, too, which is absolutely insanity. So, now week 7. Let's see how this goes. Alright. So, come on, simulation. Kicks it through. And they beat the Steelers 18-17. Okay. Next week, we have a win against the Patriots, 7-1 now. They play the 4-4 Texans, and they win that game as well. 5-4 Cardinals, should be an easy win, would be my guess, yes. If they go 16-1, I'm going to absolutely laugh. That would be the automatic New York Jets thing to do. Go 16-1. And just be one step away from being undefeated. But you can't go undefeated because you're the New York Jets. I mean, so far, it's been a good year for this squad. I mean, 10-1, obviously, pretty dang good year. Still, that loss just absolutely is insanity. Revis only has 1 interception on the season. But as I've said before, really good corners. If you're a good enough corner, they don't throw your way. They don't give you opportunities to get interceptions because they don't throw the ball at you. Now, if you're, getting a lot of interceptions, it could be that the quarterback you're playing against, they lose the Dolphins, think that you're awful or don't think you're that good, and then they throw it at you and you get interceptions. But overall wise, usually if you're a good enough corner, you lock down the side. That's why it's called Revis Island. But they lose back-to-back games to the Dolphins and the Jaguars. Okay. Beat the Rams. Now they play the Bills in Buffalo, which they got destroyed earlier. And this time they win. So they lose in New York, win in Buffalo. Interesting. Play the Dolphins in the last week of the season, and they beat the Dolphins. So they lock up that number 1 seed. Almost losing that number 1 seed right there. Not sure how the Dolphins find themselves in the same situation as last year, where they played the Bills the final week of the season. They lose, so the Bills get the 2nd seed, and they got the 5th seed. It's amazing how that ended up happening. But Jets number 1 seed, which is kind of what I expected going into this. Although the Dolphins did do very well at a 12-5 record. Stats, let's go over to this. Aaron Rodgers, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,000 yards. Breece Hall had a great season. Garrett Wilson had a great season. And going over to sacks, Quinnen Williams and Jermaine Johnson. And then interceptions, Revis had 3, which actually was the second most on the team. tied with Chuck Clark. So Revis had a pretty good season as well. For MVP, Rodgers did not even show up on the list, which is kind of weird and surprising at the same time, but let's just see how these playoffs go. So, wild card, they get the bye week because, of course, they got the first round bye. Now they play the Cincinnati Bengals in the divisional, and they beat them. Now they play the Houston Texans in the championship, and it's going to be another win. So they play the Vikings in the Super Bowl. A team who's never won the Super Bowl but lost 4 Super Bowls versus a team who's only won one and been there once with Joe Namath way back in the day. And you get to go against Justin Jefferson with Darrelle Revis, which honestly would have been the best 1-2 punch of all time to watch. But the Vikings do win the Super Bowl. The Jets it up. And in the end here, it is going to be a Jets losing the Super Bowl. But at least they get there, which, with how good their squad is, doesn't really shock me at all. And also, Patrick Mahomes is MVP. I love how Patrick Mahomes is MVP in this video, but the video I add Aaron Donald to their squad, he's not MVP. Whatever. Just makes no sense. Makes absolute no sense. But tell me down below your thoughts, opinions, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.